good? What's good? Your boy back. You know what I'm saying? Finally we here. My top 10 albums of 2014. What I liked, what I listened to, what touched me the most. You know what made me actually go back and run the CD back 3 times. It's just different elements of why these CDs got put on my list. So I'm just clearing that out the way. This top 10 is mine. It's not yours. So just sit back and enjoy the ride. Number 10. We're gonna start off with this album right here, Paperwork. It makes the list, because I'm a T.I. fan, and seeing how he was working with Pharrell, I definitely feel like I knew something was gonna be up with the album, but you can tell that some of the shit that he wanted to do, he couldn't do. If you listen to the song on Oh Yeah, where he even said I wanted to go this type of way, but Pharrell said not, go this type of way. I definitely feel like this is a more Pharrell influenced album, and I definitely feel like he should have stuck with the Trouble Man too, because if you hear the first song King, you definitely feel like the whole album should have been that vibe. It's cool to have like the little radio songs and shit. Like he could have kept Mediocre, he could have kept Stay, and Paperwork, but I just feel like he should have had the same vibe as on when you throw in the album King. But it's still a dope album. I still listen to it. It's on my iPhone, so that's the number 10 joint. Number 8, it go to SD, man. I just feel like SD definitely showed and proved with this album. It shocked the fuck out of me for the simple fact that I didn't know what he was gonna do. You know what I mean? I don't think nobody really knew what he was gonna do as far as the album goes. And once I got it and seen the direction that he went in, I wasn't even mad at him. I thought that shit was pretty, ill or whatever for him to come out and just be different. Because if I didn't know he was from Chicago, I wouldn't know where he was from, straight up. But he definitely put his work in, and I definitely want to see what he actually gonna do next. I heard he supposed to drop something today on Christmas, but I don't know if that's true. But that's my number 9. Number 8, J. Cole. Definitely, it had to make the list. Not based on because it's a new album, but it's certain songs in here I feel like he did touch on that's relatable. The Wet Dreams joint, of course, was cool, but Fire Squad, No Role Models, I think stood out to me. January 28th, he had some joints in here. '03 Adolescence, if y'all watch my review, I definitely feel like that's something I could relate to. It wasn't a bad album, but it wasn't worth the hype all y'all was talking about. So I definitely feel like y'all definitely overhyped that fucking album in my personal opinion, but it is what it is. Number 7, Nicki Minaj, The Pink Print. Now, of course this album made the list because it shocked everybody. Did I think that this was gonna sound like this? Hell no. I thought we was gonna get fucking Roman Reloaded ×3, a bunch of pop songs and shit, cause what she come out with, Anaconda, Pills and Potion, and all these other songs that's kind of like on the R&B side. I Lied, The Crying Game, Better Lies. Like those are the 3 songs, and I'm like, oh shit. So we gonna get that type of album. But when you bought it and purchased it, definitely was a shocker. I'll leave it at that. Number 6 is the album I didn't get to pick up this year, but my girl did. YG, My Crazy Life. I shouldn't have to explain why that's number 6. That album was fucking phenomenal. A lot of people was telling me it was dope, and I did not listen to that shit. I didn't want to listen to it because of the songs he put out before. And when I finally heard it and reviewed it, man, that album was fucking crazy. I still got to go pick that album up before the year is over. That salute to y'all, man, because y'all really put me on to some dope shit this year. And that was one of the albums where people was like, yo, you feel me? You got to hear that shit. That shit ain't what you think it is. And it wasn't, though. You dig? But number 5, of course, goes to Eminem, Shady, 15. The only reason why it made the top 5, but it's not higher because it was just one disc, and we all know how I felt about that. I thought that was incredible. I think it's dope that he gave the fans, a new project with some greatest hits, but at the same time, Eminem shut shit down lyrically on that album. I don't go fuck what nobody say. That's better than Marshall Mathers LP2 in my personal opinion, and a couple more as projects, but that's my number 5. My number 4, which I did buy, but I'm not going to go on my CD book to get, Freddie Gibbs and Madlib with Pinata. Lyrically, production-wise, that album was fucking dope as hell, man. Like, who would have thought Freddie Gibbs could rap like that? you know, even he said in interviews, like, he never worked with Madlib with production, and it tested him as an artist to see what he can do. And I think he killed Jeezy for his spitting. Like, he definitely spit better than Jeezy. You know, that's my number 4. Number 3 is another album I gotta pick up. Killer Mike and LP Running Juice 2. Jesus Christ. Now, when I tell you, like, when I heard that, and I've been a Killer Mike fan since way back in the day, since he was fucking with Big Boy. And I remember the first Running Jewels, and I thought it was lyrically dope, but a lot of people kind of slept on it. So when this shit came out, oh man, it's from beginning to end. It's like incredible, like lyricism. Like, nobody would think that he's that dope, but he another underrated rapper. So I definitely felt like that was a great album. A lot of people probably don't like that album, but to me it's underrated album, and he an underrated MC in my personal opinion. But that's my number 3. My number 2, definitely go to Royce and DJ Premier with Prime, because that's another project where it's like when people just was feeling like Royce was slipping as far as his lyrics and shit, and he wasn't putting out no content, he came with that shit, totally killed it. He shocked the fuck out of me, you know, because Royce sometimes always talk about his alcoholic problems, or rappers ain't shit, or rappers don't know me and they think I can't rap. But with this, he gave you a broader side of him, and I thought that was dope, you know. And with DJ Premier bringing out the best of him, and they worked together before. Like, I've been listening to Royce 5'9". I remember when I worked at Toys R Us, and there was a cat, you know, that used to work with me and try to put me on to him back in the day. I forget the name of his album, Def something, I forget, but I didn't know who he was. But I remember that song Boom. That was my shit back in the day. Like, that, he dressed weird in that video, but that song was just dope. So I've been knowing who Royce is and shit like that, but I never really picked up on him until like the beef with him and Eminem and shit. That's when I really started getting into it. And his Bar Exam mixtapes, Flawless, that's like the classic trilogy of mixtapes in my personal opinion. But this album definitely dope, and I can't wait to pick it up. But of course, my number 1 album, y'all should already know who it is, Logic. I did make a mistake when I said best albums of the year. I said this and J. Cole got 13 records. I made a mistake. This has 12. J. Cole had 13. I shouldn't have to self-explain why, you know, this is my number 1 album. This is the album that I listen to the most from the day I heard the leak, the day I bought it, and I still play this album every day until I make sure out of a day I listen to it twice. It just touched on everything, and everybody kept saying like, oh no, he gonna rap like he did on the mixtapes. He's not gonna tell us anything new. Bullshit. Everything he said in the interview, he kept his word on. He touched on shit even deeper than what he said before. He may have said a word or two, but he went in detail about a lot of shit, from his upbringing, his family, his life, you know, his mother, everything, you know. And I definitely feel like this was a great fucking debut album. And yeah, this shit is still better than J. Cole shit in my personal opinion. You know, I think Logic, I put him before J. Cole. Y'all can say what y'all want. But at the end of the day, it's my top 10. It's what I like. It's what I listen to. It's what I buy. So if you don't like it, skip the video. If you do like it, thumbs it up, comment, let me know what you think. But yeah, that's my top 10 albums of 2014. Let me know what y'all top 10 albums of 2014 was, and what would be the first album of 2015 that you would buy, and what would be the first album of 2015 y'all think that I'm gonna come back and review. Because like, they keep asking me on Twitter like, oh, you leaving after today? Yeah, I am. But what album will you think gonna bring me back next year? That's a good question right there. I never said when I was coming back, but I did say I'm leaving, but didn't say when I'll be back. So what album do you think, if you really watch my channel and know me, it's not gonna be a mixtape, so don't get it fucked up. It's gonna be an album. What album you think gonna bring me back to review? Other than that, let me know. Hit me on Twitter. Hit me on Instagram. You know, I got one more review to do, and that's Chinx Drugs when it drop. And after that, finito, I'm gone. Merry Christmas.